People have left their ideas on earth that have become ideologies, that have become philosophies, that have become the way we rule our countries. Matter of fact, it's impossible to kill an idea. You can kill a man, but not his ideas. This is why ideas like socialism, communism, democracy, dictatorship, even terrorism is an idea. Everything that exists, Pastor Benny, is a product of an idea.
Exactly.
The shoe on your feet used to be an idea. The clothing that we wear used to be an idea in someone's mind. The building we are in used to be an idea in an architect's mind. Everything in the world was first an idea. And that is why ideas are so critical, because they are not only the controlling elements on earth, but they are also the source of creation of everything. Because an idea is what's in your mind. Now, the only way for me to know what your ideas are in your mind is when you convert them to words. When you speak, a word is an idea container.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
God expresses idea with word. Your word is in your mind,
yeah.
But when you put it on paper, it's called a testament. You know, it's amazing. Lawyers know this. If you die with a will in your mind, then no one knows what you intended.
Exactly.
This is why a lawyer comes to you and says,
put it in writing.
Say what you want to happen. Say means take your intentions and turn them into words. And when we put it on a paper, it's called a legal pad. Because now I've taken what was your intent and made it a legal document. The Bible is called a testament because a testament is someone's will on paper.
Here on the news, we are fighting an ideology.
That's the point I'm making.
Yeah. Because we're not fighting an army.
Right.
We're not fighting terror.
Yes.
We're fighting an ideology.
That
is
very,
very, very dangerous. And only God's idea can defeat that.
You're getting ahead of me. That's why the book...
I'm going to slow down then and let you talk. But you see, this is the key to victory.
Yes.
Keep talking.
As a matter of fact, the idea of God is as old as time and as fresh as tomorrow. The idea of God is as old as time and as fresh as tomorrow.
I love it.
Because God's idea hasn't changed. God says, look, come back to my original idea about mankind. Why I made the earth, why I made these planets, why I created the universe, why I put man on this planet. He said, come back to the original idea. Then you'll be transformed into what I intended.
So what you're saying is when Adam was created, his mind thought like God thought.
You are thinking correctly.
And then when sin entered in, his mind became corrupted, polluted.
He had a new idea.
He had an idea, exactly, a new idea that brought death.
Damnation, absolutely.
Damnation.
Think about this.
So what God is saying is come back to the original state.
God's plan originally was, you know, it's very carefully stated by that deliverer called Moses. In the first book of Moses, in chapter 1, God states his original idea. His idea was, he says, let us make man in our own image and our likeness. And he told us why. He says, let them have dominion over the fish, the birds, the cattle, and over all the earth, and over everything that creeps upon the ground. That's God's idea. It's not a mysterious idea. Let me quote it again. He says, let's make a species called man in our own image. That means our own nature and character. Let them have dominion over the earth and everything in the planet. In other words, God's idea was to have a planet, and I'm going to use the term now in the book, colonized by heaven.
Oh, I love that.
So God's original idea was to colonize the
earth.
Physical earth with the kingdom of heaven.
Exactly.
Through his children.
Exactly.
And this is why the idea is so awesome. Colonization is the extension of a kingdom in a foreign territory, impacting it with its purpose, its will, its intent, until that territory takes on the culture of the kingdom.
But now you said through his children. So
Absolutely.
As you go on talking this week, we're going to see how we're going to get into becoming an extension.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you see, the entire goal of colonization is to transform a territory into the kingdom. I was born in 1954 in an island called New Providence in the Bahamas. When I was born, I was not born in a country. I was born in a territory called a colony. Only kingdoms colonize. Colonization is when a kingdom extends its governing influence to a foreign territory and converts the territory into the kingdom so that the people take on the culture, the values, the morals, and the standards and the lifestyle of the king. So when you come to the Bahamas, I was born, we speak English because our king speaks English. We drink tea because our king drinks tea. We wear ties in 90 degrees because the king wears ties in 30 degrees. We drive on the left because the king drives on the left. In other words, when you colonize a place, it becomes just like the kingdom. Now, therefore, the standards of living changed for us. We became as wealthy as the kingdom. We became as healthy as the kingdom. And we're going to get to this, talk about this week, because you see, this is the key. God doesn't want to take earth to heaven.
He wants to bring heaven to earth.
He wants to take heaven to earth.
Yep.
So that's why, I believe 100% in heaven. I believe in heaven more than I believe in earth. Because earth is temporary. The Bible said that which is seen came from that which is unseen. So I believe in heaven. Secondly, I believe in prosperity more than anybody else. Why? Because heaven ain't got no poverty. Wealth was a natural culture. Poverty was strange. And then in heaven, there's no sickness. So health and healing is a culture.
Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. There is no sickness in heaven. There is no poverty in heaven. There is no darkness in heaven. God wants to bring heaven to earth, plain and simple. And one of these days, the earth will become the capital.
Well, yes, and how are we talking? You see, matter of fact, earth is supposed to be a colony of heaven from the beginning. And the first thing that destroys a colony is independence.
Oh, my Lord, how right you are.
When Adam in chapter 3 disobeyed the king, he declared independence from heaven, and earth became an independent state, lost its kingdom government. And that's why the first thing Adam lost was a government, not a religion. And that's why it says when the Messiah comes, he's not bringing a religion. That's not what Adam lost. It says, for unto us a child will be born, a son will be given. And then it says he's coming with the government upon his shoulders. And of the increase of his government, there will be no end.
You know, you're answering
Adam lost the government of heaven.
Amazing questions you're answering.
See, keep in mind that Lucifer used to be a part of the government.
Well, of course.
And because of insubordination, an attempted coup, he was expelled from the original country. And so he is very angry at the government. And he knows that earth was intended to be God's colony, extension of heaven. That's why he came to the planet to encourage the colony to commit treason. You know, keep in mind what Satan asked Adam. He told Adam, he says, look, do you want to be like God? He told Eve. Now, they were already like God. This is why the greatest temptation of the devil is self-doubt. God's original plan was always to extend his heavenly kingdom to earth. That was his original idea. Secondly, God's original plan was to influence each one of us and everything on earth with heaven's culture, and to do it through his children. God's plan was also to establish a colony of heaven on earth. It's a very simple idea. So the Bible is really not about a religion. It's not about religion. It's not about rituals. The Bible is about a government policy. And finally, God's plan was to colonize earth with heaven, and therefore he wanted to fill the earth with his nature, his glory. That's God's plan. Verse 26, Genesis 1 says, and God said, let us make man in our own image and our likeness, and let them have what? Dominion over what? The fish of the sea, birds of the air, cattle of the field, and over all the earth, and over everything that creeps upon the ground.